Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Welcome to Before the Bat, the Gotham podcast. You know what this means. Phil's recording by himself with no Kelly or Tyler. Means we had a guest. Yep, that mystery guest we've been hinting at for the last 2 weeks or so is finally on. And I'm not going to spoil it right now, but just sit back, relax, and enjoy our interview with Comic Book Men's Mike Zapcic. Oops, I spoiled it. Enjoy.
For a week, and he brought me in one of the tents, the table tents from Fish's restaurant.
Oh, cool!
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Fish.
Fish. What do you think she's still doing with Will Smith?
You mean how Fish is going to be hanging out with Deadshot?
You know what? You got a point there. You know, I have no room to talk. I am not Deadshot, so hell, I'm not even the Cavalier. So for God's sake.
Yeah, I think we had the theory that they gave her that part on Gotham so Will Smith would do the Suicide Squad movie.
I think she's phenomenal.
She's good. She's kind of cartoony at times, but
it's just the character.
I remember her from I can't believe that I used to watch A Different World, but I did. Yeah.
Me too.
All right. Well, you're supposed to. You're the target audience. Me, not so much. I actually watched it for Marissa Tomei.
That makes sense.
Who also was cartoony at times in that show.
Very true.
Oh my. Alright, I've already hit the record button, so we'll just go without an intro here. Alright, everyone, for everyone who's tuning in now, we're talking to the man, the myth, the legend. You've seen him on the hit AMC show, Comic Book Men, Mr. Mike Zapcic.
Woo! Hey, Mike Zapcic! Everybody, what's going on? I got my own roadies with me. It's an entourage in here. Holy God. And thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, this is Phil. We got Kelly and Tyler, and we're
Hey.
big fans.
Kelly, and thank you. That's awesome. You guys, you kept this on the air for 4 seasons, for God's sakes. I mean, Walt and I have been dragging Brian and Ming's sorry asses, for 4 seasons. And a show about comic books that 2 of the guys don't even know anything about comic books.
Brian doesn't even work there.
No, Brian does not work. Brian doesn't work. So. He's like Kramer. He is Kramer from Seinfeld. He falls bass backwards into money. I have no idea how it happened, but
it's a great job if you can get it.
You can find it. Oh my God.
But that Tell 'em Steve Dave podcast is good though.
Oh, Tell 'em Steve Dave is awesome. Yeah, it's more therapy than anything else for those 3 guys.
But I Sell Comics also, wonderful program.
Thank you.
Yes.
With again, a guy who knows like next to nothing about comic books is hosting a podcast about comic books. So
that's my favorite part of the show because he'll mention something. He'll be like, "Well, didn't this character do this?" And you're like, "No, let me explain."
He's the everyman character, just like on TV, they create the character that's supposed to be RN as the audience who doesn't know anything. That's what he's doing.
I swear to God, I didn't. And it wasn't like we put an ad out there for, hey, do you sort of like the concept of comic book, but not really the books themselves? Then come on down and do a podcast with, that didn't happen.
Well, nobody can keep up with you. I mean, you've been described as you have the encyclopedic knowledge of every issue of every comic book known to man.
Yeah, that's a little, hyperbolic, I would have to say. That's a patent impossibility. There are so many comic books out there, and I swear to God, I never read any of the New Universe books, Super Kickers, never read one. Not one. Nor will I.
Who did?
I'm blissfully ignorant of them.
That's alright, no one read them.
Exactly. So.
What are we talking about? What we not read?
New
Exactly,
Universe.
Back in the day, Marvel Comics had this really great idea. Hey, why don't we get comic books into the hands of people who wouldn't normally read comic books? Like, I don't know, football fans. No, it just didn't work. Super Kicker, Super Pro, or it was Kickers Inc. and Super Pro. So it was like, oh yeah, not gonna happen.
But we have kind of a connection to you, Mike. Tyler actually met you. He sent me a picture of you and him together.
Yeah, Woo! I went up. Me and my wife came in back in summer of 2013 and filmed a segment, but it never got aired for season 3. I bought the Superman, the Kryptonite display, the rocks. Me and her bought that. You were working the store at the time, and I had the Superman tattoo on my chest.
Yes.
I came up and talked to you afterwards, awesome. And you signed my receipt for me because my uncle wanted to meet you and come with us, but he didn't get a chance because you're his favorite person on the show.
Oh, tell him thank you, and he should get his ass down here.
I know. we want to. Now that I moved back here, we're like, we need to make a trip.
And you know what? Trip. If we get the green light for a season 5, come on down. It's beautiful in the summertime down in Red Bank, New Jersey.
It was.
And all your listeners too. Out.
It is a beautiful place. I'd never been to Jersey or that far north before when we went there, my wife and I. So it was really cool.
Well, nice. I'm glad you had a good time.
We did.
Yes, I've heard from a few people. You have quite the reputation, Mike.
Uh-oh.
Well, no. Every source I hear, it's like, oh, Zapcic's such a nice guy.
Uh-oh. Again. Uh-oh.
I'll vouch.
Goes my edge.
Well, no. Someone, the guy who runs our podcasting network, he met Muse a couple weeks ago.
Oh my God! Talk about a nice guy.
Oh,
I met Muse before. He was really sweet.
He said Muse just talked you up and down.
One of the nicest guys in the world. I swear to God. And you get one time we were having breakfast together, and women just flock around Jason. He's married now and happily married, but they're just around him. And it's so freaky because it's me, Jason, Ming, and about 14 girls. And I'm like, Jay, who are these girls? He's like, I don't know. I met them last night, and they came for breakfast. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. And they're like, yeah, we love Jay. And they hung around us the entire day.
What is it? Just because he's a movie star, or?
It's because he's one of the sweetest guys you'd ever want to meet. He really is, legitimately, even in the midst of all the troubles that I'm sure you heard about, Jay has always been that nice of a guy.
But yeah, so supposedly he was telling our friend the same things about you, about what a nice guy you were. And
oh, no kidding. That's nice to hear. It's nice to hear that the guy, you're sort of responsible for the public image of his store, that he likes you, so that's good.
Yep, talking nice behind your back.
Oh, son of a bitch.
So, well, seeing as how we're a Gotham podcast, I know you said you're a little behind, but what's your thoughts on the season in general so far?
You know what? I think that it's a ballsy project. It's something that I wanted to talk to Kevin about doing because there's so many places you can go with this particular timeline. You're coming on right after the Wayne's death, which is the perfect jumping on point. For anyone who doesn't know Batman, this is anyone who doesn't know Batman. Well, welcome to North America.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the world.
Yeah, pretty much. But seriously, congratulations, you've finally gotten out of North Korea. Here's the thing: everyone knows his story. He's born of tragedy. His legend is that he not only didn't he break, but he became stronger for what happened to him. He never forgave himself for not acting on, even as an 11-year-old. Here's this 11, 12-year-old with such survivor guilt that he pushes himself to become the ultimate human being, Mm-hmm. So it's a lot like the Jesus story, and I'll explain this. Where you hear about, Jesus' birth, that's where we get Christmas from, kids. Then you hear a little bit about, between his birth and the time he's 10, and then you hear nothing until he pops up again at age 33. So you're like, well,
exactly.
where were you for those 23 years? And Batman, where were you between the ages of, 12 and you became, Batman? Because nobody sets out thinking, I'm thinking that, I'm gonna figure out a way to become, a human bat. That's not really what he was going after. He wanted to figure out a way to wage war on crime. Now, if Batman, Bruce Wayne, were a C student, none of this would have happened. But you've got this guy who's brilliant. He is one of the 5 smartest guys on the face of the planet, which I don't know what would have happened if his parents had lived and he'd been this smart.
He would have been Oliver Queen.
You wish.
Just a kind of douchey guy.
I think I binge watched all 3 seasons of Arrow, or 2.5 seasons of Arrow, in like the span of 2 weeks. So,
ouch.
And I know Jack Kirby. He before he died, completely acknowledged that Green Arrow was a complete Batman ripoff. And if you think about it, he was, and nobody had ever taken him to that next level. And that's what I'm hoping that Gotham does with Batman. It takes him to, you get another level of Bruce Wayne as a character. You get to see a little bit behind the scenes. You get to see what happened to, Wayne Enterprises, didn't just dissolve. It didn't fold up shop because there was no one running it. I'm thinking that if he's as smart as, every writer has ever portrayed him as being, that he had a little bit of input to where Wayne Enterprises would eventually go. Like to the Wayne Foundation, to all the, the charitable organizations, and also to the really great, accomplishments that, it did, just like Tony Stark.
Well, not to spoil it, but I'm going to spoil it for you. This week, there's a scene at the end of the episode where he meets with the Wayne board of directors and basically tells them, he's like, I know you guys are dirty and I'm going to, find proof.
Probably not what your average 12-year-old would do.
No.
Right? For me, I would, just me, I would think, he'd go about it a little more intelligently. Maybe gather stuff, maybe work through Alfred. Because here's a 12-year-old, arguably the most powerful 12-year-old on the planet.
Yeah, but once again, he's also a 12-year-old and he's been through this recent trauma too.
Right, he has. But
he's now forming that cunningness, that depth that we know him for.
Right, and what I'm hoping that they show is, he should take, let's put it this way, between the ages of, say, 12 and 25. Conservatively speaking, 25 is when Batman emerges in Gotham, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, for that length of time, 13 years, he's honing his skills, but he should also be putting those smarts to work. Wouldn't he be helping the police by, having Wayne Enterprises, create software like facial recognition, that kind of stuff, cutting edge to help them in what they're doing?
Yeah, but do you think maybe he sees through his interactions with Gordon that that system, the police itself, are corrupt and?
In Gotham, but not all over the country.
Yeah, but is he thinking that broad scale, or is he just thinking Gotham right now?
He might be thinking Gotham, but he knows that this is going to take him. If he's as smart as as I said, portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's thinking a little bit more out of the box, like globally. Maybe Gotham will be his focal point eventually, but I would like to think that, you've got this kind of trauma. Don't you think that Batman's mission was to stop any child from losing his parents to crime?
True.
You would think, yeah.
That's why he eventually creates Batman Incorporated.
Right. In the comic. And hopefully in the TV show.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Alright, so who's your favorite character on the show, Mike?
I think that Ben McKenzie's doing a great job as Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that you've got this guy who's supposed to be black and white, and yet he's getting a little bit of guile too.
Well, yeah, I think he realized he had to get a little bit to survive the system.
Yep.
All right, and who's your least favorite character?
I don't know. I don't have a standout like, oh god, I hate that character. I hope he dies next week.
Huh.
I do.
I was gonna say Tyler does.
All right, go ahead, Tyler. Who do you think?
Barbara.
Really?
I can't stand the way they're writing the character. I just think they're making her more of like a background set piece that just makes stupid, dramatic, bad decisions.
She's got that really cool bad girl secret that every guy wishes their fiance had.
I'm just saying that they could do a lot more with the character. Actually make her more of a character than so one-dimensional. That's what drives me crazy.
I'm hoping they do.
Because, I mean, how many episodes did she go without leaving the apartment?
6. Something like that.
Well, Seinfeld's mostly around their apartment, too, or so,
Yeah, but that's a show about nothing.
Yeah, Gotham's a show about Batman and nothing.
But she actually, once again, spoilers, she pops up this week. She returns to the apartment and finds Selena and Ivy staying there.
Yeah, I suppose that casts Gordon in kind of a creepy light, right?
Well, that's what I said a few weeks ago. I'm like, even when he put her in hiding at the Wayne mansion, I was like, didn't anyone question why the grown adult police detective is taking this teenage girl, and putting her where no one knows where she's at?
Maybe for another city, but for Gotham, it's probably par for the course,
Yeah, business as usual. Yeah. But yeah, and the Penguin's doing pretty. That guy's got it made.
Yeah, and I thought they were gonna pull the old switcheroo with it is actually the Joker, and
Oh.
That it would have been kind of cool though.
Yeah, but do you think? Doesn't the Joker work the best when you don't know his origin?
Yeah. I always thought that there was this one idea I had for like a Joker-esque kind of, even if it'd be like a one-shot, but having the Joker just be different aspects of, like psychoses. Like there's a psychologist out there who's sending guys out, dressed like the Joker. But there's one that's a schizophrenic, another one has multiple personality disorder, and the ringleader was like a really horrible psychiatrist. Feel free to write it up. Whoever wants it, it's yours. Take it.
It's a really good idea, though.
That almost reminds me of what Scott Snyder seems to be doing right now in Batman.
Little bit, right?
Yeah.
I think I might have mentioned that to Scott. Or did I? I'm not sure. I forget.
Do you? You read the Scott Snyder Batman, right, Mike?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think that story's really happening, or has Bruce been hit with like fear gas or something?
You know what? I think it's really happening. I think it's, you mean the end game?
Yes.
I think it's really happening. I do see some inconsistencies, but I think that's just, a little choppy storytelling that'll, like even out right at when you see the actual end game. So.
I know, but I just said it just seems like too much stuff's hitting the fan at once, and the Joker seems too well planned out, thought out, and, the Joker is usually just chaos.
He's meticulous in this.
Unless he needs to be focused. So, I think that, maybe this time around he's like, yeah, I'm getting my crap together.
Could be.
It's definitely one of those things where you read it, you're like, this could be, especially when they got into the whole idea like of the pale man and the facial recognition of the Joker for all these years. That's what I'm kind of like interesting. Maybe it is in Batman's head, or maybe it's just the ravings of a lunatic. Who knows?
Well, have you all been reading Batman Eternal?
Yes, I have.
Again.
Yes.
He's weaving a very strange labyrinth. I love a weekly comic book, especially if you can do it well. And I think that DC's proven that they can do it well. I loved 52, and I'm really enjoying Batman Eternal.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see who's behind the whole thing.
I know, we're up to week 47, and I'm still guessing. So.
Aren't they going for, 60 issues, I think?
It's going for 52. They're gonna do a whole year.
Okay.
So it's actually a lot like No Man's Land. Taking a huge chunk just of a year a full year, and just, making it interesting.
And then run us into Convergence.
And then, congratulations, you're into Convergence.
So what do you think Convergence is? Are they bringing in, pre-New 52? Are they going to mix up New 52 stuff and pre-New 52?
I think what this is going to be is it's going to be the anti-Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is going to be everything. There's going to be, they're ripping off, Marvel's idea and having a battle world, but it's going to be all of the, the different cities, put in the domes. I love the idea that they take Brainiac and he shrinks down all of these, which if I were Brainiac, I'd do too. I would shrink down Midway City, Coast City, stick them in bottles, and then, have these little tiny superheroes fighting it out with each other. And then you've got, everyone in the multiverse, why not have them converge?
I love your ideas. I remember, your idea for, how if the Marvel wanted to reboot everything, your whole Galactus idea.
Yeah, and they could have used that. It's free. I told them, free of charge. It's all yours. Go to town.
Nope, New Secret Wars. Nope.
No, let's do, yeah. No, screw that thing. Let's do, we'll do The Beyonder.
We're just gonna retread an old idea.
Exactly. And we're gonna reteach him how to poop.
Secret Wars too. But I asked you on for this week because we had the whole Haley circus, and we saw John and Mary. Well, before they got engaged at the end of the episode.
Excellent. Yes.
And I wanted you to. What was that?
I said congratulations, Mazel Tov to the Graysons.
But me and Tyler are always talking on here every week about our love of Dick Grayson and Nightwing, and I just thought you could more eloquently tell the people why Dick Grayson is the best character in DC Comics.
Dick Grayson is because Dick Grayson is the best character in DC Comics because he exemplifies the best parts of Batman and the best parts of Superman. At least in my opinion, he does.
I agree.
There's this guy. He even said it when he was when he retired Robin in New Teen Titans 39 and became Nightwing in Tales of the New Teen Titans number 44. He was putting on a suit for the first time, and he said, "Batman, I owe you everything. You taught me how to be a detective. You taught me, about justice. But I also owe you, Superman, because I grew up in your shadow as well. You taught me that, there's truth, justice, and the American way out there for everybody." And then he looks and he's like, "And my parents, you guys were never far from my heart. And you taught me that, being on the high wire is one of the best things that I could ever do with my life." He's like, "So now I'm Nightwing." And, boom, right there. Talk about, it's optimistic. He's an optimistic Batman. He's not a Batman light. He is, he's got ties to the entire superhero community. Everyone there, from the Flash to Green Lantern to, the Outsiders respect him. So he can make a phone call, and there's not a superheroine that doesn't want to, date him, and there's not a superhero guy that doesn't want to be like his best friend. So I think that's a pretty important character to have around.
He's basically Batman if he could play well with others.
And I think exactly. I think that's part of the reason why when they did Forever Evil, they chose Nightwing, Dick Grayson, to be the one that gets unmasked and everything, was because of his just being so core and close to everybody. Because from him, you can start working backwards and start figuring out who people are.
Exactly. And I'm surprised that no one in Forever Evil besides Luthor wasn't like, "Hey, Batman, you're Bruce Wayne. You had a ward named Dick Grayson, who just happened to be Nightwing.
And you fund Batman. Wait a minute.
Right?
Wait a minute
And here's what's weird. And Nightwing's got the same fighting style as Robin, who was hanging out with Batman.
So what do you think about that, Mike? Lex Luthor in the Justice League?
Did you guys read the Amazo virus storyline?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you read this past week, so you're all up to speed?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you've got Lex Luthor, who turns out again to be the bad guy. The Trinity all know, and they actually have proof now. And it's even if the president thanked Luthor for coming up with the virus, the president also knows that Luthor is the one who, I don't know, kind of unleashed the virus accidentally, but it doesn't make it any less his fault. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So.
Do you think DC is trying to make him like their version of Superior Iron Man?
Not really, because Luthor is always going to be that scumbag. At his worst, he is a jealous person, and not even at his worst. At his core, that's what drives him. It's not I want to be the best Lex Luthor that I can be. It's that Superman sucks, and everyone should be worshiping me. I love Jeff Johns' take on him in Secret Origin because it fits so perfectly with him. I'm not above doing anything I have to get on top. I killed my father. I cashed in his life insurance, and I went to Metropolis and worked my way up. Pretty cool, but at his core, he's a very selfish person. Which there is. Being a hero is being selfless, so.
All right.
I'm sorry, I was going to say, and to be honest with you, I think that Marvel copped out with Tony Stark after Civil War.
Oh, yeah, okay, when they wiped his memory and kind of started over.
Of course, but to be honest with you, they were. I think they were going to go in a different direction and have Cap win. And Tony just be the bad guy, because Tony, there's a couple convenient things that Marvel forgot. Tony, war profiteered from Civil War. His company made billions of dollars. And, last time but instead of, throwing him in jail, they made him director of S.H.I.E.L.D., so.
Well, do you think they did that because of the movies, too? Because that was before the first Iron Man, so...
Of course it was for the movies. You can't have Iron Man being a scumbag if you're going to have Robert Downey Jr. come out and be, America's savior.
Three Iron Man movies, an Avengers movie, yeah.
Right.
But we were talking about Nightwing. What do you think about the talk about the Titan show?
I think it's looking really cool. I like the little triangle that they're setting up with Oracle and Starfire, which they never touched on really anywhere else, except in that one, I think it was the Nightwing annual.
Oh, yeah.
I'm interested in seeing what they're gonna do. And if, I'm hoping to God that they get rid of, Grayson, Agent of Spiral.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, it has its good points, but it just depresses me because everyone thinks he's dead.
Yeah, great concept, horrible follow through. I mean, Nightwing's got to be out there. He needs to be part of the hero community.
Yeah, he needs his friends, and everyone except Batman thinks he's dead.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, have him come back, to the fold. Everybody being pissed at him, but he's got to regain that trust. I mean,
yeah,
it's done 1,000 times.
It would have been cooler if everyone thought he was dead, Batman sent him off, and then when he comes back, some of these Grayson stories get kind of told in flashbacks when Nightwing's explaining where he was, what he did, something like that. Because I love the Nightwing run, but as soon as they did the Grayson, I didn't want to read it. It just, to me, he wasn't his character anymore.
Right, now he's shooting a gun. That's something Batman taught him not to do, Be good at it, absolutely, but you don't need a gun.
Yeah, I know, and New 52 Batman doesn't seem to have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see, what else do we have? We had this week's episode of Gotham, like I keep saying, the alternate ending to Captain Phillips with the pirates kidnapping fish. Mike, they showed this week they've been kidnapping people for organ transplants, I guess.
Oh, someone's stealing, damn it.
And Fish ends up she ends up being an inspirational speaker.
Yeah.
She like bands all the prisoners together, and she's like, I want to go see whoever's in charge, and
she negotiates for what she wants.
That's awesome. I mean, it worked for, she probably did it for her son.
Oh yeah. But and then we got the kid in the carnival who they guess they were kind of hinting was the Joker, but
you know what? Here, I'm gonna chime in real quick here. I think if he is the Joker, he did a really good job in the interrogation scene of hinting at what to come. I like the actor and what he did, but I think it'd be more fun if they just keep putting people in the way of who could be the Joker and letting people just kind of try to figure it out and argue and debate their own. Because I laugh because the marketing for this was, it's no joke. It's like kind of like saying, yeah, he's no Joker. They're taunting us like, it's no Joker. But we're all like, oh, it's no joke, it's the Joker.
No, I like your idea. I think that's really cool.
So, yeah, but I mean, like, if they...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, if they end up being him, I'm fine with it, because I liked what he did.
He was completely creepy.
But in the pilot episode, they showed that one comedian who sort of looked like the Joker. And then, if you could do that throughout the entire run of the show and not have the Joker show up, but every couple of episodes you've got some guy who might turn out to be the Joker, that would be really cool.
That's what I would rather have. To be honest, I'd rather have that than a straight up, this is who the Joker will be. This is the Joker. I'd rather have them keep teasing, this is a potential, like next week's, I think it's next week's is the Red Hood gang?
Yeah.
Or just the Red Hood. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but I know there's a Red Hood.
So I think they said it's going to be the Red Hood gang, and they said you're going to find out who the leader is. So,
which we all know the Red Hood has been multiple people, and then if they go with like Alan Moore style, the Joker was just a person they put the Red Hood on as a patsy. So
yeah. Although, how old is Dr. Jonathan Crane?
They never said, but he's got to be what? He looked like 15 or 16, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say he's in... Crane, Ivy, and Catwoman are all in Bruce's age bracket.
Okay.
And Hush.
So it's... But, I didn't see the, like I said, I'm a little behind. So Crane is like a Doogie Howser?
His father was doing experiments in fear, and he was, like, taking, people's fear glands and
adrenaline,
yeah, he was making the fear toxin and stuff.
He was trying to conquer fear, and then it kind of backfired on his son and put more fear in him.
Yeah, he injected Jonathan, and the last they showed Jonathan, he was in the hospital just hallucinating scarecrows. And
well, he injected him with a lot more because he had to do it in a hurry because the police were closing in on him, and that made it go bad.
So he's Father of the Year, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a two-part episode. In the first part, he was gonna drown the woman in a swimming pool when Jonathan walks in and he goes, "What are you doing there?" He's like, "I told you to stay in the car."
Good dad. Excellent.
Yeah. Oh yeah, field trips. Yeah.
Father-son time. Just some father-son time. We scare because we care.
Alright, Mike, your favorite all-time Batman story.
Oh, my favorite Batman. Oh, nice. Throw me under a bus here. Favorite Batman.
well, alright, 2 or 3,
Top 3.
There was one that was, actually it was in Batman. It was, DC's Best Digest. It was, Why Must There Be a Batman? And it had the Phantom Stranger grabs, Batman and Robin of Earth 1 and takes them to Other Earth, one of the other, in the multiverse. And, so Robin's arguing with Batman that, you should let this version of the Waynes die. They go back in time to, Bruce's childhood and, they see the Waynes and they see Bruce as like this spoiled little brat. And, then Joe Chill comes in and, is about to shoot him down and Batman jumps in and Joe Chill, actually slaps him Batman around. and Robin has to jump in and, help save the Waynes. And they do. And, he's like, I don't care, what I thought, that this world needs a Batman. It doesn't matter. The one thing that does matter is, saving the innocent. So, he kicks the crap out of Joe Chill, and, they go on their merry way, and the Phantom Stranger's like, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. And it turns out that, they actually inspire Bruce to become Batman, not out of, like, grief and trauma, but out of, gratitude.
Yeah, I did read that story. That was a really good,
It's a very good take.
Was mic'd up. Yeah.
One thing, like, the idea in that instant, like, what if Bruce doesn't become Batman? So many of the stories focus on the idea that Batman came and then the supervillains rose after Batman. One thing I like about Gotham is they're kind of showing that the supervillains are rising before Batman gets there. So basically the supervillains rise and Batman is created to counter them instead of the other way around.
Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty good way to look at it too. I don't think that everybody said, hey look, there's this dude in a bat costume, let's get our own gimmick. Certainly there were some. Certainly there was Deadshot and Signal Man, but there are other villains that were. I mean, the Joker was going to be the Joker no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your next story, Mike?
I'm sorry. What's my next story?
Yeah, your top 3 Batman films, or Batman stories. What's the next one?
Batman Earth 1, Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. I think that's a really nice take on the Batman legend. That was really well done.
Volume 2 comes out this year, but I'm trying to remember what month.
I think May or June.
That sounds about right.
But in May or June.
Because the Alfred from that story is kind of similar to the one we have in Gotham.
Yeah, he kicks ass and takes names.
Yep.
He's more James Bond than he is, Cadbury the butler.
Gentleman's gentleman.
I like the Earth one. Now, here's my question, because I don't know this. I know in the Earth 1 series they addressed that Martha maiden name was Arkham, and that she was tied to the Arkham lineage. Did they ever state before this what Martha's maiden name was?
Oh my god, good question. And I should know this, Martha.
Because I like the idea that in Earth 1 that, there's supposedly the madness that runs through the Arkham family. And in a sense, Bruce has that madness to be Batman.
Just touches a little bit.
Just a touch of madness.
But you know what? You're like, yeah, that's awesome. I love the fact that, yeah, he's a little crazy. Wayne family. Hold on. Wayne, Martha. Dr. Thomas, 186. Hold on one second. I'm checking something out. I'm actually going to my Bat library.
Wow.
He's got the Bat computer right there.
The library, the encyclopedia.
That's just something I never really thought of until they put in that book, and I was like, that's a really great idea.
Oh, Wayne. Damn it.
Huh?
Wow. Yeah, that's a great question. I should know this, but I don't know.
Tyler, you stumped him.
Hey, I have my moments. Woo! I just like how they're like, if you want to be a superhero, your mother's name better start with an M. Like,
you stumped Mike Zapcic. No wonder they don't let you on the air on comic.
They were like, get that guy out of here.
Yeah.
Like, what
I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? I thought it was Kane, but it's not. Yeah, Martha Kane, it ain't there. So, man, what the hell was her last name?
Yeah, in the regular continuity, wasn't her maiden name Kane?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it became, she was, related, and then they had this creepy, Kathy Kane was, her second or third cousin, and she became Batwoman and fell in love with her fourth cousin, Bruce. It was very, Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt. So I was like,
It gets really confusing when you get into the Catherine Kane, Kate Kane, just period.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Especially after a couple crises.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Should've
2 or 3 crises. Screw it.
Should have seen me trying to explain to my wife the first time the crisis events. Like, okay, this is where they try to fix everything. Like,
oh, I know that eye roll when you tell your wife, yeah.
Oh, she was like, okay.
Keep your nonsense to yourself, all right? How about that?
Oh no, she gets into it with me. We sat the other night and watched the old Kirk Allen Superman serials because we'd never seen all of them.
Oh yeah.
So we watched those and we talked about stuff. My wife is sweet.
Excellent. I married a geek girl too, so.
Last night I went to bed and like she stayed up with our son and I fell asleep watching Superman the animated series and she was up with him watching Batman the animated series. So that's my wife right there.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm in the process of trying to transform my wife into a geek.
That's why I feel we all gotta get together and hang out so our wives can meet.
Oh yeah.
And discuss.
All the shows we've done, we've never met face to face yet.
I know.
So weird.
Cool.
What's funny is the person I've met face to face is Mike.
Yeah,
I know.
So here's something I'm gonna post to all you people. Like
okay.
I said before, it'd be different if Twain were like a C student. Imagine if he didn't have a genius intellect, like a subpar Batman.
Mm-hmm.
How dead would he be? I mean, how long would he last on the streets of Gotham?
Not long.
No.
Not long at all, right?
Because I've always said, like, the hardest villain is, like, the Riddler. Because you really have to be intelligent to figure out those riddles. Some of the other villains, they're clues you can piece together, but I think he would be like, yeah, I give up. Batman retires.
Doesn't go out at 100%. And you know what? All right, I took down 3 guys, and I'm going out here.
Either that, or he just.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say he would just work out like mad, take some venom, and just like go out and get his butt kicked every night, like like kick ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what he would be.
You gotta think he's gotta be smart too, because okay, the bad guys catch him and they put him in all these crazy traps. Well, he's gotta find a MacGyver himself a way out of them.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gotta be MacGyver. What a great question. I'm kicking myself in the ass. I can't find Martha Wayne's maiden name.
Yeah, my bad.
No, actually that's kind of great.
Like I said, when I read that, I really thought, tying her to the Arkham legacy is just really neat because, especially in the Earth 1, because you have Bruce talking about how the Arkham Asylum and the Arkham Mansion are empty, and all this stuff, and then the irony is that he's going to fill it up, basically. Because he's going to go out there as Batman and start filling up the Arkham. So, I just thought it was kind of an ironic thing.
Okay, I Googled it. I don't want to do it, but I did. So, here's the horrible thing. It is Martha Kane. So,
that is interesting.
Martha Wayne, Martha Kane. Wow, okay.
So Mike knew the answer, he just didn't know he knew the answer.
I thought it was Kane, but I was like, that can't be, because then Batman's, he was digging on his third cousin, which is really creepy. And so, yeah, he was digging on his third cousin. So, congratulations, third cousin lady. That is so sick.
Well, it's kind of like I learned, I'd never realized that in Superman comics, it took a couple of years or decades to really nail down the Kent's names that different writers had used. Mary, Martha, was it Jonathan?
Jonathan, yes.
And they used something else. Because during the serials, even the George Reeves, it was Sarah and Eben Kent that discovered Bruce. And I didn't realize that it took that long for them to nail down definitive names for his parents.
Oh yeah, and the right spelling for Jor-El and Laura.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they were able to like delineate the Earth 1 and Earth 2. Whenever it was Jorl for Jor-El, it was that's Earth 2 Superman.
Yep.
And
that's what I explained to my wife. I was like, you see that L?
Well, yeah, I guess they wanted to give him a 2-letter last name instead of 1.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think it goes back to when they started making him more messianic. They incorporated the EL, just driving back to more references to a Christ-like figure. So that's my reason for the EL.
But speaking of the other DC comics, Mike, I know you said you powered through the 3.5 seasons of Arrow. I know you said on your show
3.5.
Or 2.5. 2.5.
2.5. Yeah, they don't give me special stuff.
So do you like it?
I happen to love. I love Arrow. I was telling you before. I think it gives a depth that Oliver Queen never had before.
Mm-hmm.
He's more driven, and it gives him rather than just hey, you know what? I was stuck on an island, and rather than die of starvation, I learned to hunt with a bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question for you, Mike, since we're talking about Batman and Green Arrow. We brought up the concept of, Green Arrow's a ripoff of Batman, which we all know he was. Uh-huh. One of the biggest things I think they did for Oliver that was great in the comics is when Oliver lost all of his money and went from being Billy to being poor, running a flower shop. Do you think Bruce Wayne could be Batman if he lost all of his money?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I think he could be more effective as Batman. And here's why. Because, being a billionaire, he's got stashes of, let's put it this way. He'll never be poor. He'll never need a day job because he's got, one of the coolest things I ever read in any comic book. And it happened about, I think, less than a decade ago. It was when, Jack Drake had found out that Tim Drake was the third Robin. Mm-hmm. And he confronted Bruce about it. And, Jack's like, my son is done being your, this is sick. I don't know why I shouldn't go to the police with this. You're endangering my child. And, Bruce was talking down in the Batcave with, Dick and Alfred. And he said, you think I haven't thought of this happening? You don't think that at any given time we can walk away from, our Dick Grayson, our Bruce Wayne, and our Alfred Pennyworth identities and go assume other ones? 10 minutes? I've thought everything through. So he's got, money stashed in different locations and under different identities that he can assume at any time.
I like that. That's a good idea. Like he pre-planned to be poor and to be,
Exactly. Best contingency plan he'd ever had. And in Batman Eternal, they're showing that he is actually, they divested Wayne Enterprises or Bruce Wayne of everything, having to do with Wayne Enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting themes in Eternal. Because, I always talk to my wife, I always said, Batman, his biggest thing is always being ahead of his enemies. And part of that's having the money for the technology. They said it's like $20,000 to fill up the Batmobile with like the fuel it's supposed to take. And I'm just like, if he didn't have money, what would he do?
He'd make it a lot. Yeah, he'd make it a lot cheaper. That's all. Batman on a budget.
There's your next comic. Batman on a budget.
Oh.
And that brings me to my third favorite Batman story is Batman on a budget. And I haven't written it yet, so
we'll be looking for it.
You could do it, Mike. You and Kevin Smith get on it.
Yeah, we'll jump all over that right after Bellicosity.
I was just thinking that, after Bellicosity, then he might be Batman on a budget.
Is there a date on that?
Yeah, and it's already passed by.
I was like, yeah, it's gonna.
Plans.
It'll be out by the time the next Batman reboot happens after Affleck.
Yes. By the time that your children's Batman pops up, that's when it'll happen.
But so you like Arrow? I know I heard on your show you like the Flash also. The show? Flash is
just right after sprung from Arrow. Absolutely, think it's really really well done. CW is knocking it out of the park.
Oh yeah, the Flash is doing better than Arrow.
Yep, for ratings.
Ratings wise, yeah.
Well, and just story wise, it's on par. They're apples and oranges, but one deals with superheroes and superpowers, and the other one not so much.
Choose your flavor.
And
who, me?
No, I'm just saying, you got it both.
Flavor, yeah.
And what about Constantine? You need to bring back Constantine, right?
They have to. Constantine has been that actually has been a quality show as well. If you're not a fan of the Vertigo title, well, shame on you first off. It's sprung from Swamp Thing, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. So he's a magical con man. I love that. And they got the flavor of it perfectly. It should be a little cheesy.
Yeah. I just hope they bring it back, because NBC would be fine, but I thought from the beginning they could even have done it on like an HBO or Showtime, and they could have gotten so graphic with the violence and.
Yeah, I don't think that Showtime or HBO are willing to, even though comic book shows are proven commodities, they're still not really ready for it. They passed on Preacher. That was pretty stupid.
But yeah, NBC needs to bring it back. I mean, look at half the crap they have on there.
Well, I read that right now they're deciding in May. May is like the deadline of if they're going to renew it.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think of the idea that it would go to Sci-Fi and be Hellblazer, the series?
As long as they don't quality, I think it'd be great.
Yeah, as long as it's on and the quality stays the same wherever.
Yeah.
And then there's another.
I'll follow Sci-Fi.
What?
I said, hell, I'll follow them over to Sci-Fi. I got no loyalty to NBC.
No, they don't seem to have loyalty to Constantine.
I don't know. They still seem very behind it. So, and they haven't outright canceled it. So that gives me hope.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Is this wishful thinking or? But yeah, I love all those shows, and then Sunday nights I watch my Walking Dead, my Talking Dead, and my Comic Book Man.
Oh, cool! Thanks. Are you looking forward to Supergirl coming out?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Tyler has his own podcast.
I started my own Supergirl podcast.
What do you think, Mike? You think CBS will do a good job with that?
Very cool.
What?
I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they will. It's set. They've stated that they're going to have it all be one universe, which I think is really cool.
Oh,
that
Arrow,
Flash, and even Constantine. They have possibility of a crossover, which I think would be genius on their part. Marvel is so far ahead of them in the cinematic universe that they're going to have trouble catching up. And since they're delineating their TV from their movies, which I think is a big mistake, but hey, no one asked me. We'll see. If they can make them all in one integrated TV universe, maybe they've got a leg up.
See, I wouldn't mind. I think Gotham is the one show that can't tie in, but I wouldn't mind Constantine.
The one that shouldn't tie in.
Yeah, Gotham. Yeah.
I think Constantine tying would be awesome because I want to see Zatanna show up somewhere.
That would be cool.
That would just be a great character to have on Constantine, and then just kind of moving around. Because I'd like to see some of the side characters more float between the series. Just like we're gonna have the Atom show up on Flash, and that's really cool that they're doing it. It'd be cool if you had some of these side characters like Firestorm, the Atom, that pop in the different shows instead of just being on one show.
I agree.
Did everyone see the picture today of Jason Momoa as Aquaman for the Justice League or the Batman vs Superman movie?
Yep, I did.
Yeah.
He looked amazing.
So I heard someone say he looked like John Travolta from Battlefield or Earth or whatever that movie was.
Oh, they wish.
He looks like 90s Aquaman. Peter David Aquaman.
I like the look. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think he looked more like the Crime Syndicate Aquaman from Forever.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Sea King? Wasn't that his name?
Yeah.
I like the look. My thing is, I want to see clear pictures because just like we got that black and white gray Batman, this one seems very tinted, like and filtered. I'm not seeing the color. It seems very bleak. I want to see like what the suit and everything looks like in color. More just like, the Wonder Woman photo was all this very gold and dark tinted, and they put Superman in the rain. I just want to see like a good clear shot.
Well, I think they're too far out. They don't want to put all their cards on the table yet.
Oh yeah, they're definitely too far out for us to get what we really want, but they just pacingly tease us. Here's Superman. Months later, here's Batman's car. Here's the Batsuit. Here's Wonder Woman.
Tickle you with a
now here's Aquaman. My thing is, are they going to be like, and here's Cyborg?
They're probably going to introduce Cyborg as Vic Stone.
That's my thought.
I just think they're missing out on the boat by not putting Stephen L. and Grant Gustin in the movie.
Yeah, like I can understand not wanting to put Arrow. I think a cool clip of just like them inviting Arrow to join the Justice League and him like turning them down would be cool. Because Green Arrow was never a founding member of the Justice League, but he was part of it. So, but I think the not having Grant Gustin as a Flash is gonna be weird because by the time we get our cinematic Flash, we could we could be in season 4 of the TV series, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think that's Marvel's strength is like they tie the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in with the movies and, and then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is basically an hour-long commercial for them every week.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, hey guys, since we don't have a new movie going on right now, watch this show just to tease at stuff that'll appear in the movies.
6 months from now, yeah.
And let us advertise on our own show.
Yeah, it's smart because they're able to backdoor some stuff. Like, I've missed out a lot on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. the second season, but I know, like, someone was saying online that they're worked on backpiling some of the Inhuman stuff into it. So, Arrow's built up such a strong universe already with the characters, and then, of course, they brought in Ra's al Ghul and everything. It'll be, I don't know, I think it would have been smart to do. To at least acknowledge each other doesn't mean, like I said, Arrow has to be in the films, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we will see.
Yeah, because Marvel's got Ant-Man and Age of Ultron coming out this year.
And DC's got nothing.
I heard a rumor that Mike and Ming already have their tickets for Age of Ultron.
Oh, we do, for God's sake, yes.
Every week, I swear, they're like, oh yeah, we're doing the midnight show, right? Yeah.
Well, he said that once. I'm bringing my kids, too, so.
Well, of course.
Yeah, I get in trouble if I go to any superhero movies without my daughter.
Hey.
That's a question, Mike. My son's almost 2. When did your son start getting into like superheroes big time?
Technically they're not. They just like what Dad likes, and they love the movies. They love Guardians of the Galaxy. They're not quite as comic book oriented as I am. They're more. They love Five Nights at Freddy's. A lot of the video games. These kids these days, kids these days. But they dig the movies. One of my sons watches Arrow and Flash with me religiously. My youngest, he loves just hanging out, and So, are they really into comics? Not yet. I'm not forcing it down their throat.
It's amazing how many people. It's amazing how many people love the properties but don't like the source material.
I understand because there's so much backstory. You love Superman, but you really want to read 5 years of Superman.
It's true.
Especially all that 50s bullcrap.
You can just skip over all that and jump in somewhere.
Yeah, but nobody. Yeah. How many people are out there to tell you that you can skip all over that bullcrap?
Mr. Mike Zapcic.
I'm about to say you are.
Yeah, pretty much me. I'm the only.
You're just like, here, grab this. Secret Origins. Go. Earth 1. Good series. Go.
Exactly. Superman, Legion of Superheroes. Read it. John Byrne, Man of Steel. You got it. You're done.
That's right. You just want to know what to read? Call Mike at the stash, man.
Call me at the stash. I'll sell you what you need to read.
All right, gang. Do we have anything else?
I think the problem is we could go on and on. The question is, maybe this is a good part to stop.
All right, and my last question is, where can I get a bottle of that zombie Q sauce you make?
The zombie sauce. You call me at the stash on Monday, and I'll set you up with 3 bottles of zombie Q sauce. How's that sound?
Sweet. Thank you, sir.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Fantastic, then.
Well, thank you so much for being with us, Mike. Like I said, this
Not
is an honor for us.
What did you think?
Hey, when they introduce Nightwing.
Oh, I hope so.
Hey, I wanted Mary to be pregnant. That's what I was waiting for. I wanted her and John to already be married and pregnant.
Pregnant, or you want Mary to get pregnant?
To get pregnant. But I was hoping in the episode she was.
All right. Well, let's hope she does, but let's hope that Gotham goes on for that long.
That's right.
I would be fine if they just be like, oh yeah, Bruce and Dick become friends when they're both young kids. I don't care. Bring me my Nightwing.
Oh, that'll be awesome. Folks, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Not at all.
All right, thank you, sir.
You guys, thanks.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. All right, do we want to quickly just go over the episode because we're running long and my wife's like, I want to go to bed.
I don't know.
Her too?
I mean, we hit the big points. The Joker, the Graysons. We even got Fish in there.
Yeah, we did. Overall episode rating, what do you give it?
4.
4.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3.5, 4. It was a good episode.
It was.
Very good episode. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about? Butch.
It came into my mind and then I forgot it. I was gonna bring it up, yeah.
Just like Butch.
Puppet Butch. He reminded me of, you guys watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
No.
He reminded me of when they brainwashed Greyjoy and made him call himself Reek.
Yes.
That's what it reminded me of, where he just basically has him as a puppet that he's just twisting and everything, so.
I didn't want to spoil everything for Mike.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That was just really, really creepy.
Well, that's it. I know me, Kelly, and Tyler had fun. I hope Mike had as much fun as we did. We were psyched for this for weeks. But you can catch Mike Zapcic on AMC's Comic Book Men every Sunday night at midnight after The Walking Dead and The Talking Dead, and his podcast on the Smodcast Network, I Sell Comics. And as for us, because please send us your thoughts on this interview. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, because you can email us at beforethebat@gmail.com. On Facebook, we're Before the Bat, the Gotham Podcast. On Twitter, we're at Before the Bat Pod. Instagram is Before the Bat _Flash Arrow Pod. Tumblr is Before the Bat /Flash Arrow Pod. Or you can even go to our page on SouthgateMediaGroup.com and click on the forum link, and you can talk to us on the forum, like the bulletin boards. Or you can get a hold of us personally on Twitter. I am at NightwingPDP. Tyler is at JTYPatrick. And Kelly you can find on basically every social media known to man at Supersquint, SUPERSQUINT. So, come back next week for more Gotham fun. Same bat time, same bat channel. The Gotham Podcast.